As a result of the Defence Strategic Review, see separate briefing link below, Australia is creating an amphibious armoured combined arms brigade to be stationed in Townsville, Northern Australia. This brigade, the 3rd Brigade, quote, must be able to meet the most demanding land challenges in the region, unquote. It will be equipped with Boxer, combat reconnaissance vehicles to locate the enemy and direct fire onto them, M1A2 SEPV3 Abrams tanks for anti-armour and other direct fire missions, AS-21 Redback infantry fighting vehicles to deploy infantry for assaults, and AS-9 Huntsman self-propelled guns for indirect fire. Does this formation, as planned, have all the capabilities required for the high-end warfighting that the Australian government says it will need to be able to deliver? G'day and salutations. Today's briefing, Australia's Armoured Force, the Missing Element, Part 1. An organic part of an infantry battalion, providing indirect fire below that of a brigade's 155mm artillery assets, are its mortars. Traditionally, in an Australian infantry battalion, 81mm man-portable mortars. Obviously, for a mechanised unit, these need to be self-propelled mortars. For decades, the Australian Army has talked about introducing into service a self-propelled 120mm mortar to support its mechanised infantry battalions, but this has not yet come to pass. But more than just being self-propelled, the mortar needs to be turret-mounted. Self-propelled turret-mounted mortars are becoming increasingly important on the battlefield due to their speed into and out of action, high rate of fire, being more survivable, and with the addition of a direct fire capability. This direct fire capability is particularly useful against dug-in positions, fortifications, and light vehicles. The mortar's indirect fire capability complements the self-propelled guns, or releases them for other missions, including counter-battery fires. Additionally, in complex terrain, the mortar's higher ballistic profile may be preferable to gun howitzers. Examples of this complex terrain include mountains, jungles, and urban areas, which are all prevalent in Australia's area of primary defence interest. Self-propelled mortars would also have better manoeuvrability in close terrain than self-propelled guns due to having shorter barrels. Now, there are a number of self-propelled turreted 120mm mortar systems available. In this briefing, I will discuss the 4 most likely options. The most futuristic looking of all the options is the Patria Nemo. Developed by Finland, the Nemo from new Mortar is in service with Saudi Arabia and possibly Slovenia on land vehicles, and with the UAE's Navy on fast attack craft. The Nemo was a single-barrelled 120mm remote-controlled mortar turret and is derived from the twin-barrelled Amos. The Nemo has a very small and angular unmanned turret which can be fitted to many armoured vehicles and, as mentioned, naval vessels. The mortar barrel itself has a depression of -3 degrees and an elevation of up to +85 degrees. The 3-metre long barrel is capable of firing out to 10 kilometres depending on projectile and charge combination. Note, as it can be fitted to small naval craft, it might be of interest for Australia's future Littoral Manoeuvre Vessel Patrol, or LMV-P, project. Another contender is the Polish Huta Stalowa Wola, or HSW, M120 RAK, which is said to be in service with Poland. The RAK is a single-barrel breech-loading mortar with a fully automatic magazine and autoloader in the turret. The mortar barrel can depress to -3 degrees and elevate to +80 degrees. Its 25 calibre mortar is capable of firing out to anywhere between 8 to 12 kilometres depending on projectile. The RAK mortar can fire remotely as an unmanned weapon using commands and data transmitted electronically to the vehicle's fire control system. An older system that has been in service since 2000 is the British-American AMS, or Armoured Mortar system. Used only by the Saudi National Guard, the mortar barrel has a depression of -5 degrees and an elevation of up to +80 degrees. Its 25 calibre mortar is capable of firing indirect out to around 12 kilometres and direct fire to around 1,200 metres. An improved version, the AMS-2, has been developed, but it is not yet in service. And finally, the GMOS. The Spanish GMOS is not yet in service with any country, but may be adopted by the Spanish Army. Fitted with an autoloader, the mortar has a depression of -5 degrees and an elevation of up to +85 degrees. Its mortar is capable of firing indirect out to around 10 kilometres and direct fire to around 1,500 metres. Regardless of which turret is selected, the vehicle should be equipped with a remote weapon station with either a 7.62mm or 12.7mm machine gun. It should also be equipped with passive protection in the form of an electronics warfare suite and an active protection system, likely the Iron Fist system that is fitted to Australia's AS-21 Redback infantry fighting vehicles. In summary, the Australian Government has stated that the Army must be able to meet the most demanding land challenges in the region. As the primary formation for this task, the Armoured Combined Arms Brigade must have all the required capabilities to be able to achieve this task. As currently planned, the Brigade's organic indirect fire capability would include the non-turreted 81mm mortars and 155mm self-propelled guns. One approach to enhance the Brigade's direct and indirect fires capability might be to convert the Mechanised Infantry Battalion's organic mortar platoon in the support company into a fires platoon, replacing the non-turreted 81mm mortars with self-propelled, turreted 120mm mortars. Such a capability would be particularly useful in complex terrain prevalent throughout Australia's area of primary defence interest. This new capability might be achieved by utilising current Army projects, either Land 400 Phase 3 or Land 8116 Phase 1. Australia is already building the AS-21 Redback infantry fighting vehicle for Land 400 and the AS-9 Huntsman self-propelled gun for Land 8116. Utilising either of these chassis and adding one of the aforementioned turrets would provide the Armoured Brigade with additional indirect fire support, augmenting that of the AS-9 Huntsmans, and provide significant enhancement to direct fire support, complementing the M1 Abrams and man-portable 84mm Charlie Gutsake weapons. In addition, the vehicle would also be equipped with a remote weapon station, electronic warfare system for drone defence, and perhaps an active protection system. As a side note, the selected turret might be of interest to the New Zealand Army as it develops a motorised infantry battalion group. That concludes today's briefing. Thank you for watching. Happy to take suggestions for future briefings from subscribers, so please subscribe, like and share. Until next time, Vale de Cero.